Good morning. Welcome back to New Science. I think that's what I'm going to call my model for the atom, the galaxy model for the atom, in which the only constraint is that atoms and galaxies are exactly the same thing. They're exactly the same thing. And so if you keep to that rule, you can figure out a lot of things about everything. That's how it works. The universe is fractal. The universe is energy. There's nothing but energy everywhere. But that energy is divided and subdivided. And the divisions are galaxy atom. That's the iteration. That's the fractal. And at each level of the fractal, there is radiation given off and received by the matter that is that size of the fractal. So atoms give off photons and they interact with photons. And stars and galaxies, the suns, produce photons and neutrinos all the time. And so if your atoms are themselves made from smaller atoms, those smaller atoms will also be involved with photons and neutrinos at their scale. And that's the big reveal. Instead of working on one dimension, like quantum mechanics, science right now, it's one dimensional. It's saying that our matter is the only matter. And underneath our matter, there's quantum foam, like chaos, randomness. And up above our matter, well, it's just like, that's just the universe that went Big Bang and it's expanding and it's gonna maybe collapse someday, and then that's all there is. They don't think of larger structure and they don't think of smaller structure. They're just operating on one dimension. Like our present science is one dimensional, really. But when you start thinking about atoms being made from smaller atoms, then you're thinking a multidimensional fractal universe, which is what my model is, the galaxy model for the atom. If you buy my book, that'd be great. Just buy it for a souvenir. The Galaxy Model for the Atom by John Sefton. You can get it at Amazon. Just buy it for a souvenir. Nobody reads books anymore these days anyway. But it's pretty short. It's like under 100 pages, and it takes you through how I figured out this model where atoms and galaxies are the same thing. And the things that pop out of that, like a new theory for gravity, where all matter is pushing on all matter. And that's how it works, right? But yesterday, when I was talking about the upcoming pole shift, this is really important stuff. They lined up the older pyramids, the ones that don't line up with our present North Pole, and they found that the older the pyramids were, the older the settlements were, they pointed at older and older positions for the axis, the spin axis of the Earth. And those positions they found by tracking where the old pyramids are pointing at. You can see the last 4 positions of the North Pole of the axial North Pole, and that goes straight up the middle of Greenland. That's where they found the older pyramids and settlements were pointing at. The older they got, the oldest ones were pointing at the one furthest south. Okay? So, another thing I've been interested in for years and years is the magnetic North Pole. Now, the magnetic North Pole has been moving ever since (1960). It started moving north. And in 1960, it was in in Canada here, in and around Baffin Island. And it started moving north. And it's been moving north faster and faster. And it was moving north as fast as 50 miles a year. And it is now over the top of the Earth, and it's approaching the Siberian Islands. Okay, that's where the magnetic North Pole has been going. Since 1960, it went from here to almost where this hook is. And this hook, I put this hook in exactly where, well, not exactly, approximately where the next jump is going to be, where the next North Pole is going to be. So you see that magnetic track is heading in exactly the same direction as where the next pole will be, according to this pattern. And it's almost there. The magnetic North Pole is almost to where that hook is right now. And if you use that hook for the North Pole, then I changed how the equator lays out, eh? The equator now lies in a different position. When the North Pole switches, the equator moves. And when the equator moves, all that water moves. And that's what's been causing the great floods that you read in the history books about worldwide floods. Well, yeah, every time the North Pole moves, the equator moves. And the equator takes all of that water with it. And so, if the equator moves closer to you, like this next time, the equator is going to move 500 miles closer to Australia. Right? Now, if you read up on how different the pole radius is from the equator radius, the spin of the Earth is throwing that water out, and the water's thicker around the equator. So when the equator moves, that thick layer of water moves with it. Now, if you figure out how thick that water is by the difference in the radii of the pole and the equator, I don't know, I'm getting answers like that's 2 kilometers thick of water there that's going to change position. And it's going to be, there's going to be, lands are going to appear to sink, and lands are going to appear to rise, all right. And that's a major shift of water. So it's no wonder that they've been having these legends of world floods. I mean, man, when that North Pole moves next time, you don't want to be close to any seashore estates. Even the ones where it's moving away from your side, it's going to slosh back a few times. It's not going to be a smooth move over to that side, I don't think. I think where the water's going away from, well, I don't know. Maybe on the side where the water goes away from, you'll just see the line come up. But that's why we've been hearing about floods. And the way our magnetic North Pole has been zipping over the top of the earth, right? It's going right towards where that next axis is going to be. It's there. It's pretty much there right now. If you check longitude and latitude of where the magnetic North Pole is right now, it is pretty much right where that next axis is going to be. So that's food for thought. I don't even know if I'm safe right here in the middle of Canada, actually. Might have to find a mountain. But that can happen anytime, in the next 1,000 years. However, I don't know, our magnetic field, the Earth's magnetic field right now is going through some radical changes. We've got an anomaly in the south where there's a big anomaly in the south where the field is really weak. And that's been causing trouble with satellites. Satellites don't like that. They've been losing satellites because of that. The South Atlantic anomaly. And that's been getting bigger lately too. So it's interesting times, guys. But remember, if you buy my book, The Galaxy Model for the Atom by John Sefton, now it includes a new theory of gravity, how gravity works and why. Man, if I could get not even very much money, I'd love to play with that, because I think it's possible for us to tap gravity. We don't need nuclear, we don't need oil, we don't need anything. If we can tap gravity, it's just like there's an unending flow of energy coming in from all directions. You just have to know how to get some. And it's possible to do if you know the right new science. Galaxies are atoms. Every atom in your body is a little Milky Way. And they all have life. They all have life that's created by you and your situation. And all of the little fractal yous are playing out your life situation in you at all times, at 10 million lifetimes per second. Every way forward has been tested and tried inside you. You just have to look within. I think that's what JC was saying when he was saying look within. You can find your best way forward by looking within and listening to yourself. But have a good day, you guys.